With over 15 years of mortgage broking and investing experience, these are the biggest mistakes I see people make. The first one is not getting the structure set up right from day one based on what you're actually trying to achieve. This can dramatically affect your borrowing capacity and your ability to actually reach those long-term goals. They focus too much on interest rate, not enough on actually achieving the long-term wealth creation benefits that real estate can provide. Another big example is that they don't plan to hold the property long-term. They look for short, quick fixes, hotspots, get in, get out, make quick profit. Quite often that doesn't work and they end up holding a property that may perform for 12 months, but not for the next 20. Whenever you buy a property, you really need to focus on, hey, this is a 20-year game plan to build my wealth. I plan to hold this asset for the next 20 odd years. And in the meantime, I'm aware that there's going to be holding costs and have pre-planned for it. This is one of the biggest mistakes we see, is that people don't look at property investing like a business. When you first start a business, you don't expect to make a profit in day one and you have money aside for expenses. You should do exactly the same thing when building out a real estate portfolio. Another major pitfall we see is cross-securitization. This is when you secure two properties together for the one loan. Ideally, what you always want to do is separate those loans. So you may be starting out as an investor and you might borrow 20% plus cost against your principal place of residence, then a completely independent loan against the new investment property of 80%. So you've borrowed 100% of the purchase, but you've never actually linked the two properties together. A major thing when investing is understanding the difference between an offset and a redraw. 99% of investors should always use an offset account. That's where they put their reserves. That's where they put their money to hold and service that property, and not a redraw account. There's potential tax implications if you use a redraw account versus an offset. When you're setting up your investment portfolio, you always want to make sure each loan split is clarified to what asset. Simple example. Let's pretend you're starting out your investment journey. You've got a principal place of residence with plenty of equity in it, and you want to set up deposits for two investment properties. What you don't want to do is have one facility of, let's say, $400,000. You use that one facility to buy two different investment properties, where ideally you want to split that in half, have two $200,000 investment facilities, and each one then allocates to the new property. The reason you want to do this is to simplify your finances. Come tax time, it's easy to know what debt and what interest relates to what property. So as you start to grow your portfolio, it's always important to revisit that with your broker and look at refinancing as a way to structure your assets and your debt to enable you to continue to grow. Don't look at it as in, oh, I've got to provide all this paperwork. No, look at it like we're restructuring our finance to release more equity to allow us to grow, or freeing off some property and rearranging your debt, again, allowing you to grow with the aim of achieving your goals sooner. Another big mistake we see is people buying their assets in the wrong entity and doing that out of convenience, not doing it based on long-term strategy. You see, it doesn't matter whether you're really buying the investment property in your own name or in a trust or a company. It's what works right for you now, and also in the long term. Simply, the outcome needs to be what is going to get you to your goals and what is going to hinder you from getting your goals. So just in recap, some major decisions we see people get wrong is getting loans based on interest rate instead of long-term structure and strategy, buying a property in a certain entity, not taking into consideration how that can affect them long-term, potentially reducing their borrowing capacity, not allowing them to achieve their long-term goals, using cross-securitization because that may seem easier, but it's not the right way to grow a property portfolio, treating a redraw facility like an offset for an investment property, and not understanding the potential implications around that, not using loan splits for clarity and control, and finally, going to another mortgage broker instead of the loan room, where we are simply the best. So if you'd love to have a health check, you're either looking to expand your portfolio or not sure how your current portfolio is structured or if it's structured correctly, hey, drop in a comment, reach out to us here at the Loan Room. We're more than happy to help.